Hello students, in the last lecture we have seen that when the current is passed through a rectangular loop which was placed in a uniform magnetic field, torque act on it and the torque given was mb sin theta. Now let us come to again the circular current loop as a magnetic dipole. So in the previous lecture we have seen that the rectangular loop was behaving like a magnetic dipole where the magnetic dipole moment was taken as I into A. Now it is not necessary that the loop should be a rectangular or a circular. Any current carrying loop, any planar loop means two-dimensional loop having a specific geometry can behave as a magnetic dipole. And whenever it is placed in a uniform magnetic field, the torque act on it. Now let us consider a circular current loop. Again, as we have found the magnetic field on the axis of this loop. So let us again assume that the loop is placed in YZ plane and we have found the magnetic field intensity at a distance x along its axis. The radius of the loop was taken as capital R. The method was, we have considered two current element which was denoted by IDL, and now we know that if the current is flowing in an anti-clockwise direction, the phase behave like a north pole, or in the next topic we will see that a current carrying loop behave like a bar magnet, or bar magnet can be thought of a circular current loop. So there is an analogy between the bar magnet and a circular loop. So if this loop is placed in YZ plane and the current is flowing in anti-clockwise direction, as we have seen, this phase will behave as a north pole. It is kept in YZ plane. We find the electric magnetic field intensity at this point. So this is north and this is south, and the magnetic field intensity at this point was along the x-axis. Otherwise, we have this as a magnetic field lines. So this is the magnetic field lines. It originates from north and then it does not terminate, but inside the bar magnet it is south to north. And we have to remember that no field lines intersect each other. So this is the situation. Now as we have an electric dipole moment, and if you remember in an electric dipole moment, the direction of the dipole moment was from negative charge to positive charge. Here the dipole moment was from is from south to north, and in the previous lecture we found a method to find out the direction of the magnetic moment. That was in a rectangular loop, the current was flowing clockwise and we have curled our hand in a clockwise direction to find that the magnetic field the magnetic moment was in the downward direction. Now let us come to this point. The magnetic field intensity at point P is given by mu naught I r square upon 2 x square plus r square raised to 3 by 2. This is the derivation, the general formula of the magnetic field intensity at point P. If we assume, if x is greater than the radius, that is the point P is far away, then B is equal to mu naught I. So we eliminate this R, so it becomes R square upon twice x cube. We are trying to relate this circular loop with the dipole. We will see that this circular loop will behave like a magnetic dipole. And if it behaves like a magnetic dipole, what is the formula for the magnetic field intensity in the terms of the magnetic dipole? Now, we know that the magnetic moment is given by M and its formula was I into A. A was the area of our planar loop. Here the loop is circular. So the area of this loop is pi r square. So here pi is missing. If we multiply and divide it by pi, the magnetic field intensity would be mu naught I pi r square upon 2 pi x cube. Now this is I into A. So B is equal to mu naught M, that is I into A, into divided by 2 pi x cube, which can be written as B is equal to twice mu naught M upon 4 pi x cube for x greater than the capital R. Now see, the formula of the magnetic field intensity is in the terms of a magnetic dipole moment, where the direction of the magnetic moment was determined by the right hand thumb rule. So if I take this current is flowing in an anti-clockwise direction, if the current is flowing in anti-clockwise direction, this is my north pole and its backside is a south pole. Now I keep this coil along the y-z. Now it should be clear that the magnetic dipole moment is from south to north. So south is at back, north is in the front. So the dipole moment should be from south to north. Or you curl your fingers in the direction of the current. So I curl my finger anti-clockwise, this finger is outward, thumb is outward. So this is the direction of the magnetic moment. Now the loop is kept like this. So magnetic moment is along the x-axis. The magnetic moment is along the x-axis. So the back face is south and this is north. So the direction is from south to north, or this is the direction of the magnetic moment. Now if P is a point which is along the axis, so this is the magnetic field intensity at the axial point of a circular loop, that is B axial is equal to 2 mu naught M upon 4 pi x cube. And if you remember, the electric field intensity due to dipole was given by 2 kp upon x cube or y cube or z cube. So where k was equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So in the place of 1 upon epsilon naught we have mu naught. See, other constants are same. So whatever role was played by an electric dipole moment in electrostatic, the same role is played by the magnetic dipole moment. The only difference is that the electric dipole consists of two discrete charge, that is 1 plus and 1 minus, and the magnetic monopole does not exist. Means we cannot isolate north and south. But in the case of electric dipole, we have and isolate positive and negative charge. Their system behave like a dipole, but monopole, magnetic monopole does not exist. So the magnetic poles always exist in pair. So that is only the difference. Otherwise, see the derivation, that is the magnetic field intensity along the axis of the current carrying loop behave like a magnetic dipole. Similarly, we have found the electric field intensity at the equatorial point to be Kp upon xq. I am not taking the direction, otherwise the formula was minus Kp, that was equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P upon x cube. So this was the derivation for the electric field. Suppose this is a dipole, plus and minus, if you remember. Then here, if we have a point P, this point was referred as a equatorial point, and if I take a point here, it was along the axis. So this point is along the axis of the loop. And if I take point anywhere, it will be the perpendicular bisector, that is, so this loop is behaving like a dipole. The dipole is this north and south. So if I take a point here, say P dash, it is an equatorial point. So there is a analogy between the BXL and EXL. Similarly, I can write the magnetic field at an equatorial point should be equal to, in the place of 1 upon epsilon naught, I write mu. In the place of P, I write M, and I divide it by 4 pi x cube. So this is the magnetic field intensity at the equatorial point. And in the next chapter, we replace this loop with a bar magnet. Again, the formula comes out to be same, that is the magnetic field intensity along the axis of a bar magnet or along the equatorial point of a bar magnet. Though in that case, M will not be equal to Ia. So if I consider this bar magnet and I find the magnetic field intensity at this point, the derivation will remain same. But in this situation, the formula for M will change. We will see that in next chapter, but because it is a bar magnet, it does not carry any current, so it should not be Ia. So there is another formula for a magnetic dipole moment, almost similar to the electric dipole moment, which was defined as the product of the magnitude of either charge and a definite or appropriate distance between the two charges. So whatever role is played by Q, we will see what is the role. The distance will remain the same between the north and the south pole. So we will define this, another definition. So this is the magnetic dipole moment only for a loop which carries a current. So what we conclude is that any planar loop, not necessarily it should be a circular, it should be a rectangular two-dimensional. Planar loop matlab two-dimensional. So as we have seen in the previous topic, we have taken a rectangular loop. So planar loop carrying current behave like magnetic dipole having magnetic moment M equal to Ia. So this is one conclusion. The derivation in that case, so we have derived this in the form of a current. This formula is equivalent to this formula assuming x is greater than r. So planar loop carrying current behave like a magnetic dipole. Second thing, you have to remember that the electric dipole is made up of two charges which can be a monopole and they form a system. So dipole was a system of two equal and opposite charges separated by a finite distance. But in this situation, it is not possible to separate the north and south pole. So magnetic monopole does not exist. Also, this loop produces the magnetic field. So current carrying loop produce the magnetic field. That is clear, it produced the magnetic field, and it is subjected to a torque when we place this in a magnetic field, uniform external magnetic field. So that is our previous topic, that a torque act on a rectangular loop carrying current I placed in a uniform magnetic field. So this is the property of any current carrying loop. One, it produces the magnetic field. Second, it behaves like a dipole. And third, it is subject to a torque when we place it in a uniform magnetic field. And from all this experiments or observation, Ampere said that circulating current is responsible for magnetism. So according to him, if there are circulating current, then that gives the rise to the magnetism property. Though we will say that this is not always a true situation, because the magnetic monopole does not exist for the time being. According to Ampere, all the circulating current is responsible for magnetism, means they produce the magnetic field, they are subject to torque, they behave like a magnetic dipole. See example number 11, which is related to the torque acting on a rectangular loop, a theory which we did in the last lecture. So we have a 100-ton closely wound circular coil. So the number of turn is 100, having the radius 10 centimeters, carry a current of 3.2 ampere. So let us assume this is the coil, but it has how many turns? 100 turns are there. So this is the 100 turns of a coil. We assume the current flowing is in anti-clockwise direction, though the direction is not required here. The first part is what is the field at the center? So that is a direct formula. So 1 and 2 part are very easy. We know that B center is equal to mu naught Ni, because there are n turns, upon 2R. So you know the value of mu naught, you know the value of n given, I is given, R is given. So you substitute all these values and find out the answer. So this is the magnetic field at the center. Second part, find out the magnetic dipole moment. So we know that if a coil is carrying a current, the magnitude of a magnetic dipole moment is given by Ia. Now this was a formula which we did for 1 turns. Here we have n turns, so we multiply it by n. Therefore, M is equal to I, the area of the loop, that becomes pi r square into n. So this is our equation number 2. Again, all the terms are given. Now if I apply the right hand thumb rule, I can easily find out the direction of the magnetic moment. So here I have taken the coil in the vertical plane. The coil is taken in the vertical plane, as we did in our theory. This is, the coil is taken in YZ plane. The coil is taken in YZ plane. We kept a coil like this and we found the magnetic field intensity at X. So the current is assumed to be anti-clockwise. Now if the current is anti-clockwise, I curl my fingers in the direction of the current. So thumb is coming out. Now the coil is kept like this. So this is the direction of the magnetic moment. Or we know that if the current is anti-clockwise, it behaves like a north pole and the back face behave like a south pole. So the magnetic moment is from south to north. So it is from south to north. So either you apply the right hand thumb rule, or you learn the convention that a magnetic dipole moment is from south pole to the North Pole. Now let us come to the third part. The coil is placed, so you refer this question, the coil is placed in a vertical plane. So we have taken that vertical plane, that is a YZ plane. It is free to rotate about a horizontal axis which coincide with its diameter. So this coil is free to rotate about a horizontal axis which coincide with its diameter. We will see the geometry. Then we apply a uniform magnetic field of 2 Tesla. So the magnetic field applied, that is the external magnetic field applied, is 2 Tesla in the horizontal direction, such that initially the axis of the coil is in the direction of the field. So this is the axis of the coil, it is in the direction of the field. The coil rotates through an angle of 90 degree. So we will see this is the rotation of about 90 degree under the influence of the magnetic field. Then I have to find out what is the magnitude of torque in the initial and the final position, as well what is the angular speed acquired by the coil when it has rotated by 90 degree. The moment of inertia, so this capital I is not current, it is moment of inertia, let us denote it by I dash. So it is not current, it is moment of inertia. Now as per the geometry given in the question, so this is a coil, this is a vertical plane. Now the magnetic field is along the x-axis. So this is your magnetic field. Initially the magnetic moment is also in the same direction that we have seen with the help of a thumb rule. So this is the situation. Now its axis is along its diameter, so we can take this as a diameter. This is the diameter. So the coil rotates by 90 degree. So we assume this coil rotation like this. So this is how the coil is rotating. So initially the coil is kept like this, that is in a vertical plane. Then we have, it is free to rotate about an axis which join its diameter. So I can also take the coil rotation like this. So if I keep a coil like this, again it is a diameter, I rotate it by 90 degree, either in this direction or in that direction. So to understand the geometry on the board, we take this as an axis of rotation. So we assume that a coil rotates like this. So when the coil rotates, because the current was flowing anti-clockwise, the magnetic moment and the B are in the same direction that is given, that is the initial situation. And then we have to find out what is the torque in the final position when it rotates by 90 degrees. So when it rotates by 90 degree, the magnetic moment is in the upward direction. So you have to find out the torque. And we also know that a current carrying coil or any planar loop behave like a dipole, magnetic dipole. So tau initial, that is equal to MB sine 0 degree. M is found here, multiply by the 2 Tesla that is given, so that is twice M. Whatever value you get here, you substitute this. That is the first part of C. Second part, we have to find out the torque final position. So torque final position is MB sine 90 degrees. Sine 90 is 1. So it becomes MB, sorry, here sine 0 is 0. So initially it is 0 and now B is 2. So it becomes 2M. You substitute this value. Do the correction here. Sine 0 is 0. So initial torque, that is a dipole, is in a normal position. And when we rotate it by a 90 degree, the maximum torque act on it, and that maximum torque is given by 2 2m, where m is the magnetic dipole moment. So this is the initial and the final torque. Now next, when it rotate, so it has rotated by 90 degree. So initial condition, this is the final situation. So we assume this is the axis of rotation. This is the axis of rotation. So what is its angular speed? Now it has rotated by 90 degree. So earlier it was like this. Now this is the final position. So what is the angular speed at 90 degree? So when it rotated by an angle of 90 degree. Now let us find out the angular speed. Now we know that tau is equal to mb sin theta. This is our general formula. And in 11th we have seen that the tau is equal to I into alpha. Here I is the moment of inertia. Let us denote it by I dash. So torque can be written as I dash alpha. That is alpha is the angular acceleration and I is the moment of inertia. So I dash alpha is equal to mb sin theta. So you remember like this, force is equal to mass into acceleration. Whatever role is played by mass in rotational mechanics, that role is played by moment of inertia. In the place of acceleration, alpha is the angular acceleration. Now angular acceleration can be written as the derivative of angular velocity with respect to time or angular speed. So alpha can be written as d omega by dt. So I dash d omega by dt is equal to mb sin theta. So this is the situation. Now we have to do the derivative of omega with respect to time. But on the other hand, we have theta as a variable. So here there is a derivative of omega with respect to time, but here we have a theta which is a variable. So we have to express this omega in the terms of theta. So I can write this equation like d omega by d theta is dt is equal to d omega by d theta into d theta by dt. So it can be written like this. So in the place of d omega by dt, we can write d omega by d theta upon dt. Now d theta by dt, that is derivative of displacement. Here it is angular displacement with respect to time. So it is a speed or velocity. So d omega by d theta. Say this is equation number 2. So we know that omega or velocity is derivative of v with this derivative of displacement dx by dt. Here we have angular displacement. Therefore I dash, now in the place of d omega by dt we have omega d omega upon d theta is equal to mb sin theta. Therefore I dash omega d omega is equal to mb sin theta d theta. Now I have to find out the omega. So I integrate equation on both the side and the angle rotated was 90 degree. So I dash integration omega d omega is equal to mb integration sin theta d theta, and limit becomes 0 to pi by 2. Here the dipole is initially in the normal position, so its omega is 0. So limit this becomes 0 to omega. Therefore I dash, then omega d omega, so integration becomes omega square by 2, that is equal to mb sin theta d theta. So this can be written as mb. Now what is the integration of sin theta? Minus cos theta. So I take minus common, it becomes cos theta, and limit becomes 0 to pi by 2. So limit becomes 0 to pi by 2. Therefore I dash omega square by 2 is equal to minus mb cos of pi by 2 minus cos of 0, that is final minus initial. So cos 90 is 0, cos 0 is 1, minus minus becomes plus. So I dash omega square by 2 is equal to mb. So this is the formula where now I have to find out omega. So I have to find out omega. So I write omega is equal to under root, this 2 goes there, twice mb upon I dash. So this is the formula for the angular speed. Now we know the value of the magnetic moment. M can be found. M is found here. B is given as 2 Tesla. Moment of inertia is given. So you substitute this value. Also remember that from this omega you can find out the periodic time and the frequency. So if I have to find out the frequency, omega can be written as 2 pi f. Also you remember now the first chapter that if we have an electric dipole in an uniform electric field, then the same formula can be written as omega is equal to under root twice Pe upon I dash, where I is the moment of inertia. So we have seen that we have compared the electric dipole and the magnetic dipole in the previous topic. So if we have an electric dipole placed in a uniform electric field, then we know it rotates till it's get aligned in the direction of the field. Now when it rotates, its angular speed should be given by twice dipole moment electric field upon, this is not a current, this is moment of inertia. So this is a comparison between electric dipole and magnetic dipole. So this coil, initially when it is placed like this is its normal position. We know that the dipole, when the dipole is in a normal position, the resultant force is 0 and torque is also 0. But when it makes an angle theta, the resultant force is always 0 on a dipole, but the torque act on it, and due to the torque it rotate in the electric or the magnetic field, whatever is the case, till it get aligned in the direction of the field. So this is all about we have for today's lecture. Have a nice day.